All right, everybody. Welcome to Lunch with LeAnn. I am very excited for today's guest. We have our wonderful friend Ben here, and he is coming at us. He's with the Idaho Human Rights Commission. So we're really excited to welcome Ben. Thanks for joining us, Ben.
Thanks for having me today, LeAnn and Link, and this is a great opportunity.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you. So, as if you are just joining us for the first lunch with LeAnn, welcome. We have designed these lunch breaks to talk about and talk with all of the great community members we have out in and around Idaho. And they are here to share a little bit of fun and joy and lunch with us, and also very important information and resources. So, Ben, let's talk about lunch because it is noon. What are you eating today?
Yes, well, I've kind of gone the healthy route today, and I have a massive salad here. It's actually a chicken apple walnut with a nice vinaigrette, and then I've got some artichoke and asparagus and a little bread. So I've got my proteins, I've got my greens. It's kind of a healthy, COVID lunch. I've got to try to stay healthy during COVID as much as possible.
Yeah, how's that going for you? You doing pretty well on that?
Trying to, yeah. I've got a new puppy, so I'm trying to get her out and get some exercise in the morning, so that's helpful.
Oh yeah, that's really helpful. A new puppy. So would you mind sharing your puppy's name?
Yeah, her name's Izzy, and she's a German wire-haired pointer lab mix and full of energy.
I bet. I bet. Well, it's a good thing you're having such a healthy lunch. I'm also having a salad.
Hey, look at that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm actually in Portland, guys. So I'm coming at you from my sister's RV, and she put sugar snap peas in my fridge. So I'm going to eat those too. They're kind of
nice.
I can eat them like popcorn. I don't even put them in a bowl. I just eat them out of the bag.
That's a perfect snack.
Yeah, exactly. So Ben, thank you so much for joining us. Really excited to talk a little bit about the great work that you guys do at the Idaho Human Rights Commission, and would love just to get a general oversight of what do you do there at the Idaho Human Rights Commission?
Yeah, thank you for asking. It's a very interesting agency. We were created in 1969 by the legislature to enforce anti-discrimination laws in the state. And so the bulk of the work that we do is to enforce protections for Idahoans who have experienced some form of harassment or discrimination or retaliation in employment, in housing, in public accommodations, and education. So with the enforcement work, people come to us with a claim and they say, look, I experienced this when I tried to take my service animal into a restaurant and I was denied service. And then we can open up a claim and investigate that. The other thing that we do is education and outreach. So we do a lot of work with community organizations and businesses to educate and train around these issues.
So are you a law enforcement agency then? I'm hearing the word enforcement. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we are a law enforcement agency. We're an administrative law agency. And for someone to file a discrimination claim in the courts, they have to first exhaust their remedy with us. So they have to first go through our process before they can file suit. So we're both law enforcement and legal administrative review. And we're a neutral agency, so we don't take the side of one party or the other, which is an important role when we're looking at whether a violation has occurred or not.
That's great. That's great. And so when we talk about the illegal discrimination, there's 7 different kinds of discrimination that are in law, correct? Can you maybe share what those 7 are?
Yeah, so the Idaho Human Rights Act lays each of those out, and it's age over 40 in employment, religion, race, color, national origin, sex, and disability. And then there's an 8th category, which is retaliation, and not just any kind of retaliation, but retaliation for those 7 protected areas. So if someone goes to their supervisor and complains of disability discrimination, and then they're fired because of it, that's the kind of retaliation that we would investigate and look at.
Oh, wow. Okay. And so is there one of those 7 that you investigate more than the other that show up in your office?
Yeah, it's really interesting because you would think that there would be kind of an even split between the 7, and there's not. Disability claims make up half of all of the claims that we look at every year. So even though it's only 1/7 of the protected categories, it's 50% of all the cases we look at. And that can be everything from, like I mentioned earlier, a service animal issue with a restaurant. It can be an emotional support animal in housing. Sometimes we see a failure to accommodate in the workplace, or maybe a refusal to hire somebody because of a disability. So all of those are issues that we examine and look at.
Great. And where can people get some more information about the Idaho Human Rights Commission?
Well, the fastest way is to go to our website, and that is at humanrights.idaho.gov. And all of the information about the categories and the types of enforcement work that we do, and the free trainings that we provide to individual businesses and organizations, that's all on our website. They can also call us directly. So if they have a burning question about an employment issue, or maybe they went to a convenience store and were denied access with their service animal, they can contact us directly at 208-334-2873. And I and my staff can take their call and point them in the right direction and talk about our process.
That's great. That's great. Thanks, Ben. And I love on your website. So as I was doing some research and doing my due diligence of learning about the commission, I did see on there on your website, it says humanity is our common ground. And that's such a powerful statement, and the work that you guys do as a neutral party to find where those are. I want to extend some appreciation for that. And that
Yeah.
a very simple statement says a lot about the work that you guys do.
Well, thank you. Well, and it's really an important motivator for the work that we do, because we're not a punitive law enforcement agency that we're out to get businesses or out to penalize. Our real goal is to bring resolution to conflict. And we have a free mediation program for parties that have a claim before the commission. And we resolve as many as 20% of all cases through confidential mediation, which is a wonderful process. And so that sentiment, that idea of humanity being our common ground, motivates and drives a lot of the work that we do. And at the end of the day, we want to help people resolve the conflicts and the discrimination that they've experienced. And hopefully businesses, organizations, and individuals will be better because of that process.
Yeah, that's great. And it looks like there's great resources on there. People can schedule trainings if you're a business that's wanting to be proactive about some of these unnecessary violations that may happen. And it looks like there's quite a bit of information on that website for folks if you're an individual or a business.
Yeah, and we do more than 50 or 60 trainings a year for free. It's part of our mission, and our goal is to educate businesses and organizations, housing providers, educational institutions about the law, about the enforcement work that we do, and how to prevent a violation. You know, what are the best practices? How can you accommodate individuals with disabilities, both physical, mental, and things like service animals and emotional support animals? And, you know, those are sometimes very confusing issues and laws. And so we try to simplify that and educate the public about their rights and responsibilities.
Yeah, and I love that full wraparound approach, right? The protection, the prevention, and the resolution that you all, that full cycle of how we can be a better community and support each other more inclusively. So that's great.
Yeah,
Great.
absolutely.
So you guys are involved in this 30-year ADA celebration. And before we talk about what you guys are doing with that, would love to hear what the ADA means to you, Ben, and a little bit of that personal story of yours that is so beautiful.
Yeah. Well, in my professional life and in my personal life with friends and family with disabilities, the ADA has meant personally access to jobs, access to opportunities that exist for those without disabilities. And so to me, the ADA is an equalizer. It's a leveler of the playing field, so to speak. It allows everybody to have the same opportunities. And I've seen that with family members who have been able to seek long-term employment, find housing, friends who were previously homeless who were able to get housing, and then counseling and other supports because of the ADA. My predecessor, Marilyn Schuler, the former director of the commission, had polio as a child and experienced a number of disabling conditions as a result of that throughout her life. She passed away about 2 years ago. And during her tenure as director of the commission, she prioritized that work under the ADA. In fact, she was commission director during the time that all of this was unfolding, and we were redrafting state law to mirror the ADA. And then the amendments came out. And so she was instrumental and a role model for me in prioritizing supports and the enforcement of the ADA to make sure that everybody gets a fair chance and has the access that they need and deserve.
That's great. That's great. And so what is the commission? I know you guys are very involved in our ADA celebration that is now expanded past the Hands Around the Capitol event. What are you guys doing this year to celebrate the 30 years of the ADA?
Well, one of the things is our co-sponsorship of the Hands Around the Capitol and our partnership with Link and the Northwest ADA Center and Dana Gover's work on that project. Staff and family members and others that we're working with are getting the t-shirts, and we're promoting the event on social media to promote awareness and educate around the 30-year anniversary and what people can do proactively to further protections for disability rights and individuals with disabilities throughout the state. The other thing that I would mention is our free educational program and our trainings that we offer. We do a lot of trainings around respectful workplace and reasonable accommodations for workers with disabilities. And we're really pushing that and encouraging businesses and organizations to take advantage of our free trainings.
I'm muted.
I was reading your lips, and yes, people can go online and they can check out our website and send us an email through the website or call that number that I mentioned before, and we'll set that up free of charge. Right now with COVID, it's a little more difficult with social distancing, but we're very creative and flexible. Right now we're planning a training that we're going to do in 3 stages. So we're going to have limited seating for employees. That there are about 150 employees for a business. And we'll do stages, 3 different hours. And we're also going to live stream that for the rest of the employees who are working remotely. So we have a lot of options with technology, and whether it's in person or remote and online, we're happy to do that.
Yeah, so way to adapt, right? We're very good at adapting to the situation. So that's fantastic. Any closing thoughts or final takeaways that you would like the audience to make sure they're aware of before we sign off, Ben?
Well, the last thing that I'd leave everybody with is just to remember that we are here. Even if there's an issue that perhaps is not something that we can look into, give us a call. If you have a question, if you've experienced something that you believe is discriminatory, something around a disability or a service animal or anything like that, give us a call. We can talk with you about the situation. If we're not the appropriate agency, we can direct you and refer you to others who may be. So think of us when you experience something. If you believe you've been discriminated against, you can come and talk with one of my staff and myself, and we'll see what we can do.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Ben, and thank your staff for this great resource in our community. And we will be back again next week So looking forward to seeing you all there between now and then. We want to thank Lauren, again, our wonderful interpreter for our live events. Thank you for providing this for us, Lauren. And Ben, we appreciate your time. For now, we say ciao, and we will see you next Wednesday. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, LeAnn.